Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is officially Super Bowl week. I am your host, Jared Klim, alongside my amazing co-host, Mr. Matt Ordazzo. Matty, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing better than I think the coaching staff that's being put together for my football team, but it's another story.
I mean, it's been oddly quiet so far on the Super Bowl Monday. Well, besides, obviously, we have two big headlines: OC of the Raiders and a superstar defensive end has requested a trade. But other than that, the NBA kind of dominated weekend headlines because I did not watch an ounce of that Pro Bowl.
No, I turned it on. I spent more time scrolling through Twitter and TikTok than I actually did paying attention to what was on the screen.
I played NCAA 25 for probably a solid 2 hours. And then I'm doing a playthrough of Skyrim right now with a special mod that lets you create your own faction. So you get to basically become High King of the whole country, which is kind of dope. So, yeah. That was what I was doing. It was being also BSing with my friends. It was kind of a rough weekend for your boy. So we're gonna do a little moment of silence for my grandmother, Jared Klim. She passed away at the age of 90 on Friday. Grandma, I love you. Happy with Grandpa and Pop actually. Sorry, and yeah, she was a big supporter of me and the show, and love her to death. And happy she's gone to a better place. So just a quick moment of silence. All right, well, I appreciate that. Other than that, it was an interesting weekend. Spent a lot of time driving. Got to watch my cousin tear it up in one of his last freshman games of the year. Kid's an athletic freak. I just watching him play basketball was honestly like one of the most enjoyable experiences I watched this year. Other than that, I'm not kidding you this. So I went to go see my little cousin. She was playing her travel game. So she's like 9 years old, right? And so we had this one female ref, and I swear she was on the ball. Everything was great. And basketball referees get the most benefit of the doubt for me. I rarely ever go at them unless like NBA refs. I really don't care that much. MLB umpires and NFL referees get almost 99% of my scope. This female ref was great. The ref that was with her, I started calling him Mr. Daniels by the end of the show. Dude was walking around like swaying like a palm tree. Maddie, he looked like me at the spring concert our senior year, just like leaning, rocking with it. And he goes, all right, 2 shots. And my uncle goes, was that your order? Like, I could not believe it. My man was walking around with a huge gut, and he was like barely sounding coherent. He was making calls. He was waddling down the floor. And I was blown away. I'm like, I understand getting trashed for your kid's game, but to work as a referee in a kid's travel league, that's a whole different story. Then I also saw 2 parents get thrown out of a JV tournament. Wild. Basketball is a different breed, man. This is why I was happy all I played was rec. Because I could not deal with that.
Yeah, pick basketball, football, especially for like the young kids, like those 8 to 12, 10 to 13 range, like that. Parents take seriously.
Telling me, apparently, soccer is just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until after I got a little older. I used to have soccer games when I was a kid, and they would have like they call it like a silent day, where like they wouldn't be allowed, nobody would be allowed to make a noise. And I was like, oh, why are we doing this? This is stupid. Of course, I scored during those games, and nobody could cheer. But and then looking back, I'm like, oh, it's probably because the parents couldn't control themselves.
Maybe I don't know. I've never. It's odd. It's such a weird experience to me. This whole thing with parents and getting and interfering with kids, but whatever. Just wanted to give you guys an update on my weekend. It was very odd and interesting. The only person who might have a weirder weekend was Luka Doncic. Wakes up Sunday morning. Yeah, Nate, I hate the Lakers and will always hate the Lakers because of LeBron. Loved them when they had Kobe, but LeBron is, also, by the way, I'm helping two podcasters start a podcast right now. Basketball guys. They're really cool. Preview should be coming out soon. It's a little nubbin for you right there. Love these guys to death. But they both were like, oh, LeBron's the GOAT. I'm like, I may never greenlight your podcast for this. That is the worst take I've ever heard in my life. LeBron's 4th all time. He's not even the greatest Laker. He's not, honestly, he's the 3rd best Laker. In terms of all time. 4th if you count Magic. My honest top 4, and this is, we don't have to clip this because we can. I don't care. The death threats I'll get, it's going to be insane on Instagram. 1 is MJ. There's no debating. 6 finals, multiple defensive player of the years, scoring titles, dunk contests, MVPs. Only played with 1 top 75 or top 50 player of all time. That's Scottie Pippen. Number 2 is the greatest, most accoladed player of all time. That is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Titles, multiple All-Stars, multiple MVPs, multiple championships. And until LeBron had to play for 27 damn years, the all-time scoring record. Number 3 is probably the most culturally significant player besides Michael Jordan. That is Kobe Bean Bryant. 5 titles with only 2 significant all-stars. I do not count the Malone and Peyton team because they didn't win a title. His best 2 players he got to play with were Shaq, top 5 all-time center, top 2, honestly. He's 1, in my opinion, but some people will put Kareem. Sorry, he's 2 behind Kareem. My mental mistake there. And then Paul Gasol, who's not even a top 75 player of all time. Still won titles. Beat Kevin Garnett's big 3. Beat the most loaded Magic team I'd ever seen. And to my point, number 4 is LeBron James. I respect LeBron. I think he is the athlete who takes the best care of his body of any NBA player ever. My biggest problem is how we've had to move the goalpost closer for LeBron to be considered the GOAT. He gets to play more years. He gets to get all these all-stars in their prime. He gets to change teams. He gets to do all these little things just to be 2 titles short of Jordan, and I believe 6 more losses in the finals than Jordan. At a certain point, you got to realize, guys, how much further are we going to lower the hoop for? Seriously, that's my opinion on LeBron. I'm not discounting his greatness. I'm just saying Kobe, MJ, Kareem, none of them got that benefit of the doubt. But we keep letting it because we've been told by ESPN since 2003, LeBron's the heir apparent. To be honest with you, he wasn't even the best player in basketball until almost 2009, maybe 2010. At that point, he had to deal with Kobe, Steph, KD. And Curry. My problem with LeBron was with MJ, he was the best player in basketball from 1990 to 1998. There's no debate. He was the best player in basketball. He was even on the court in 94. Okay? There's no debating it. But with LeBron, is he the best player in basketball? You can debate it. I think 9 out of the last 15 out of the last 20 years, he either is not or you can debate it. There's like 2 or 3 years, the Miami years, where he's clearly the best basketball player in the world, which I do not doubt. But I barely even count his LA title because it was a bubble title. They played the whole season. They probably don't even make it out of the first round. They got the Blazers, who besides Dame Lillard shooting the lights out, had nobody. CJ McCollum was a husk of himself in that series. So I will finish that point with this. Nate, congratulations on Luka Doncic.
Thank you. Can I say something? Finally, thank you, gods, for giving me something. You don't understand, okay? Thank you, God. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
Well,
Hi, boss.
Listen. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. All I'm going to say is, Luka, I'm happy he's going to LA for him. I feel bad that he has to pay California taxes. He has to sell the house he just bought. And then he has to deal with LeBron's aging butt for the next 2 years. But after that, He gets the keys to the kingdom. So, Luka, congratulations, brother. You're the next Lakers frontman. Here's the problem. I think both teams lost this deal. I really think both teams X themselves out of contention. So, to the Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Rockets, congratulations, guys. Here's the problem.
I was enjoying.
Did I see correctly that Kyrie has already requested a trade? Or is that a rumor?
I believe I read that the other day.
I read that too. I wasn't. Nick, you could confirm this. Before I actually roll with a take, I want to see if this is actually true or not. Even if he doesn't, I'm still fearing the Mavs more Luka than with Kyrie. But they're now officially me a 5, 6, 7 seed, whatever.
I was gonna say
Lakers,
I like.
Who's gonna get the ball? I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Who's gonna hold the ball? Seriously, that's my problem. Too much ego between the two of them.
I like your top 4 list. Don't forget the Sanity brothers, Vince and Lynn, Jeremy and Vin. No, joking.
Listen,
Vinsanity was
my
how
much I love Vinsanity. That's my dude.
That was my childhood, though. I grew up on that, and
T-Mac too.
T-Mac, but I well grew up into the Vinsanity. Like he played from the time I was like 2 or 4 to like I was 20 something. It was just but anyway, back to this.
Go. Sorry.
No, I was saying back to this trade. So correct me if I'm wrong. Anthony Davis comes with a little bit of an injury history, correct? He's not the healthiest of players.
That's a Titanic-sized injury history there, good buddy.
Them legs.
So I'm looking at this. If I had to pick a winner, I would pick LA. I'm looking at the Lakers traded a 31-year-old big man, veteran 31-year-old big man with an injury history. Couple good, few young 21-year-old guards. I mean, question mark right now, what they're going to turn out to be. They just got into the league, but I mean, they could very well turn out to be some solid guys for the Mavericks, going forward. 1 first-round pick in 2029 and a 2025 second-round pick that they had from the Clippers to Dallas for one of the best players on the planet. So in Luka's 6 NBA seasons so far, he ranks 3rd in league history in points per game, 12th in assists per game, and 4th in assist percentage and triple-doubles. And that's just through his first 6 seasons in the league. He's also 25. He's 25, and he's still under contract next year, and he has a player option for the 2026 to 2027 season. So this is already setting it up for the Lakers to then eventually move on from LeBron and then build around a eventual 27-year-old superstar who already is a superstar, and Luka. I think long-term, this is setting up the Lakers for some serious success and definitely, obviously, youth power going forward. Without LeBron, when they're playing without LeBron, Anthony Davis and the Lakers have outscored their opponents by just 2 points in nearly 4,600 minutes of play without LeBron since 2019. To me, like I said, I think it's a slam dunk trade for LA, pun intended. Gives them, like I said, the opportunity to fight for a ring within this year, next year, and then obviously the chance to build around Luka for the foreseeable future. Dallas, you gave up one of the best young players on your roster and in the league. You traded him you got 1 first-round pick for him that doesn't occur for you for 4 more years when Mikal Bridges got 5 first-round picks. Luka Doncic got you 1 in 4 years from now. It's, like I said, AD is a great veteran player. He's got some time left. Dallas, to me, set themselves back to win now. I think for Dallas's sake, they got to hope that Anthony Davis continues to just be a top player and can stay healthy. And then they got to hope that those 2 young guards that they trade for within the next couple of years turns out to be some superstars. I don't see them fighting for anything. I mean, even if they still have Kyrie, I don't see them fighting for anything for another 3 or 5 years. I think this kind of sets themselves back and is now trying to play catch up, and maybe they're trying to rebuild in a way. So I think this is one of those things. This could be like a Detroit Lions trade where they get rid of Matt Stafford. So Luka Doncic could be the Stafford that gets LA a ring within the next year or 2. And then the Detroit Lions are now playing, pickup where we got rid of some assets and we accumulated some, and now we're going to build. So maybe they're the Lions in the sense of they're going to build into a superstar team in a couple of years. I don't know. That's what they got to hope for. But right now, this is looking like it's looking like they're having like it's going to be either a destroy the franchise trade, like when the Browns got rid of Baker and they got Deshaun Watson and then everything just went to dumpster fire, or like I said, it's going to be like a Lions trade where they're like the best team in the league in a couple years.
Yeah, no, and it's so funny to me. So I want both y'all opinion on this, because this is where I made my stand here on why I said this is kind of a losable teams. I don't take the Timberwolves, Nuggets, or Thunder over the Nugget. I'm not when I make a gamble, right? When I bet, how confident am I in taking X team over the Mavericks? With Luka, it's a lot less. Now that it's just Kyrie and AD, I'll take Minnesota in 7. I'll bet serious money on it. I'll bet serious money on Denver if Jamal Murray stays healthy. I'll bet serious money on SGA and the Thunder, because to me, I don't take them as seriously now, because AD is going through an identity crisis where he thinks he's a stretch 4 when he's really a 5. And I want to know how much Kyrie really has left in the tank. He's still a top 75 player all time. But dude, he went berserk last year in that series against Minnesota, but then disappeared against Boston. I don't know what happened. And then with LA, my biggest concern is ball control. Can Luka turn into a setup shooter, or can LeBron turn into a catch and go, catch and score player? I don't know if he can. Both guys like having the ball in their hand, which I am totally okay with, because LeBron is a top 4 player of all time. And Luka has the potential to be a top 10 player of all time if he continues on the road he's on. He's probably the best offensive prospect that we've seen in a long time. Now, do I think there's other guys in the league who have a higher potential of winning more titles than him? Oh, yeah. Do I think this is a good move for the Lakers immediately? Yeah. But this also then hedges their bets for long term after LeBron goes in 2 years. So that was my opinion. Nate, finish us off here and we'll move on to the other trade that happened.
Yeah. I was excited, obviously. We got Luka. Did it hurt that we lost AD? Yeah, of course it did, because he was, a defensive anchor for us for 6 years. Won the chip for us in 2020 in the bubble. I think, when he said that he wanted to kind of play the 4 more, it makes sense. And when he won the chip in 2020, we had JaVale McGee, we had Dwight Howard play the 5, and he was at the 4, and that obviously led to a championship. So I see why he wanted to play the 4. That is perfectly fine. I liked him at the 5, but he can play both, and that's what's great about AD. You mentioned how this trade is good for the Lakers in the short term. I like to think so. I think maybe we can possibly hold off on that until after until the deadline passes, because we still need a big man. I mean, our only centers right now are Jackson Hayes, Christian Coloco, and maybe Jared Vanderbilt if you want to play him at the 5. Like, it's not a promising.
That's my dude.
He's good. I mean, he's hurt a lot, but hopefully he can stay
healthy. Anthony Edwards said it right to his face.
So, I mean, look, if the Lakers can get a big man, a solid one before the deadline passes, I think this trade will look good. Will look even better for the short term. Obviously, this seems like more of a long-term type of thing, but, it's a good question to see if Luka and LeBron can work well with each other, because they both want the ball a lot. And I'm sure they will. Just will take some time to figure it out. But overall, I'm happy the Lakers made this trade. It sets us up to have a star, not just now, but also into the future when LeBron leaves. As for the Mavericks, I mean, AD did say he wanted a center, and he's going to play with Daniel Gafford over there in Dallas. So he will truly get to play the 4. I do think the Mavs, as they mentioned, this was a win now move. We'll see if the GM for the Mavs, Nico Harrison, is correct, because this was a trade that definitely upset a lot of Mavericks fans. Even though AD's not a bum, but everyone expected Luka to be the star for this team for years to come. Yeah. So it just hurts for them. But I'm happy. Lakers fans are happy. We got a star. Not that AD wasn't a star, but we got a future star.
You got a higher up star. I rank Luka higher than AD.
Yeah, like Matt said, you go from a 31-year-old star to a 25-year-old star. That's a big difference, and it didn't cost too much. But also, Max Christie, thank you so much. You were really cool 2 years we had with you, but you had to go because we got freaking Luka Doncic, and I'm excited. I gotta get a jersey. I promised my best friend I gotta get a jersey for me and him, because finally, like I said, something right happened with my sports team. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm happy. I'm happy for you, buddy. I know it's been a rough year to be a Cal Bears fan or especially a Giants fan.
Yes, sir.
We're
I'm excited for the NFL segment we'll talk about later, I'm sure. It opens up the door for my Giants to get who I really want, if you know what I mean.
All right. Well, here we go. So the other trade, this also involves Zach LaVine on the move too. I don't understand how all this one happened. Where did LaVine end up going?
Sacramento.
Oof, God.
You know where his teammate is? Who his teammate is over there? DeRozan. And you know they played with each other last year in Chicago. They're bonded again.
Two guards who both like being ball dominant. I feel bad for Kelsey. That would hurt. But yeah, I guess Swiper's on the move. He's headed over to the Spurs to be reunited with not reunited, to link up with Wembanyama and CP3, the aging dinosaur that he is. I really have no thoughts on this rather than that. It's gonna be cool seeing Wembanyama playing with a guy who's athletic and is fast, and it's just fun to watch as De'Aaron Fox. That's all I got for this. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan being together. Dude, it's just funny. It's like they can't escape each other. I mean, could DeRozan get moved before the deadline? I don't know. I mean, we still got 3 days to the deadline, Nate?
I believe so. Yes, I'm double checking for it. Yeah,
I would love for my Wolves to make one more move. Maybe get somebody to help out Randall and Edwards. Great. Not saying go get like DeRozan, but go get like I don't know, just some maybe a three, a three who's just a 3-and-D guy. Jacks up, launches bombs, and plays defense. I'm okay with it. Other than that, any thoughts on De'Aaron Fox?
I mean, really just I think this was great for the Spurs. I think this was just something that was kind of had to happen on Fox's end. And I think this will benefit the Spurs with, like you said, CP3 and especially Wembanyama. Trying to develop him and get him some more assets. So I think this is a win-win for the Spurs. Somebody else that I am keeping an eye on with this in this weirdly dramatic situation that is not really surprising because he's done it in multiple places. I think Jared's little basketball team being one of them, but I'm looking to see where Jimmy Buckets is going to be doing in maybe the next couple of days. Like I said, this isn't the first time. I mean, he wasn't really that bad with the Bulls. I think he just wanted he was coming on towards the end of the Bulls' time after their peak with Derrick Rose and that whole unit of Luol Deng, Boozer, Noah, Rose. Oh man, what days those were! But
Tyrese Thomas, Taj Gibson. Yeah. I remember.
Oh, Gibson. Yeah, I forgot about Gibson. But that was a great time for them. And he came around the end of that. And goes to Timberwolves, kind of complains about that, gets himself out of there, goes to Miami for a while. And now he's complaining about that, getting himself out of there. So we'll see what he's going to do. I'm curious to see where he's going to land as my top, I guess, top guy I'm looking at the deadline.
All right. So we are switching to our favorite sport now. First off, we're going to start with a little
tennis. No.
Oh
man.
I'm the guy playing tennis who literally tries to just like Prince Fielder it over. Like we're in the middle of a game and I'm like 4 because to me, I appreciate the skill of tennis, but I could never have the patience for it. Playing Wii tennis, that's fun though. I like that one. Me and my friends absolutely like clocked on beer trying to do like the female tennis sounds every time we hit it in the Wii tennis. That is hilarious. But yeah, they're way superior athletes than anything I could ever do. But it's just also fun to play Wii tennis, I guess. Chip Kelly, Philadelphia's favorite former coach, is headed to the Raiders. He will be the OC in Pete Carroll's new offense. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, may tell me something on who the Raiders are going to draft. I have a theory that the Raiders will go get a mobile quarterback to be their day one starter. I don't know who's obviously available right now. We'll obviously find out when cap casualties hit, but look for them to go get a Tyrod Taylor type as a day one starter And then as a project, maybe you go get a certain Mr. Milrow or a certain Mr. Dart, or even worst case, Will Howard, who succeeded well in Chip Kelly's offense. And look for, hell, maybe go even get Justin Fields. I don't know. But like Chip Kelly.
I was just going to say, that was exactly my first thought. You said, when you said mobile quarterback, day one starter to be a project bridge guy, I immediately thought of Justin Fields right now.
Justin Fields, and he would be lethal in that offense, because for people who don't know, Chip Kelly's the pioneer of the read option, and he brought from the spread read option hurry up, and it was elite. Hell, it made Nick Foles an MVP candidate 2013. Shady ran for 1,400 yards. D. Jackson, Riley Cooper, both. It was an explosive offense. Now it's going to be interesting what they do outside, because they're going to need weapons. But, you know, he's not in charge of personnel, which means the Raiders are safe. They're not going to have to trade away all their players. Anyway, thoughts, Mr. Matt, besides our Justin Fields twin light bulb there?
I thought that Chip Kelly was going to be one of the hottest candidates for the OC. I thought he could have been probably the best candidate to be an offensive coordinator for this upcoming season. I mean, here's a guy. That felt
Hey,
good.
Collinsworth.
Here's a guy that did not have much success as a head coach in the NFL. Went back to college, kind of rebranded himself, bounced around a couple universities, was an offense coordinator most recently with the Ohio State Buckeyes, and had an amazing, offensive season for them. And just a guy that's just kind of reworked himself back up to the big leagues. And I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing in the Raiders. I think the Raiders are putting together a fantastic.
I was trying to tell my uncles, like Pete Carroll is kind of a good facilitator, of like, I think he's going to be kind of more of a Sirianni type now, where he's going to more be just like the figurehead and the leader, less like X's and O's. And I'm kind of liking what they do. Have they hired a DC yet?
I don't know. I don't know if Nate knows about that, but I don't know yet. Or did they?
Patrick Graham is back. Yep. Yeah, you got him.
Oh, okay.
He's back.
Listen, it's not bad. Not bad. They need more personnel. They need secondary help, because Ellis Hobbs is not your answer for your CB1.
But I like what the Raiders are doing right now. This is very non-Raiders-esque. Like, this is not a Raiders move where they're taking a kicker in round one, or they're going for bringing back old John Gruden after 15 years.
Has Mark Davis learned his lesson?
Maybe Davis
might try not to be his dad. Listen, I understand the Antonio Pierce hire. He had a great end of the season last year. It made sense. It did. But then you start the season with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, you set him up to fail for that one.
You trade. You can't keep what's his face happy, Devontae Adams. Then you win, lose, and you can't figure out what you're doing. You have the best player on the damn field offensively in Brock Bowers, so congratulations there. He's cute. He, in my opinion, right now is tight end 2 in the league.
Right.
He is that good. He's the best receiving tight end. Could he use a little help blocking? Yeah, but he's more of a weapon than he's a blocker. But dude, Chip Kelly's gonna have a field day with that. Maybe go get like a Luther Bowden, maybe beginning of round 1, or maybe a guy like Xavier Restrepo in the 3rd, 4th round. Get guys who can make plays quickly and get out in space. Raiders might be a fun team to watch next year. I say this every damn year because they always kind of entice me a little bit. But then again, my 2 teams that I said were going to be fun and interesting were both bottom feeders. That'd be the Titans and the Raiders. So I'll own that take all day. I thought the Titans were going to be fun with Will Levis. I thought he was going to sling the rock around, except he's just slinging memes around.
God, well, so this is off topic, but because you said Will Levis, every time I hear his name, I just immediately get so angry because the Jets hired this guy to be the quarterback's coach. Mind you, they hired a tight end to be the offensive line coach. He was an 11-year veteran tight end, coached tight ends majority of his career, spent 1 season as an offensive lineman coach like 5 years ago, and is now their offensive line coach. They hire a quarterback's coach who was a veteran running back who has coached the running backs for multiple teams, and his experience being a quarterback's coach was with Desmond Ridder and Will Levis. That is my quarterback's coach, and then that is my offensive line coach. That's why I'm very stressed about this staff being put together. I like the offensive coordinator. I like the defensive coordinator. I like the head coach. That's about it. Anyways, going back to the Raiders, because Will Levis now gives me PTSD. The Raiders, I'm excited for the Raiders because they're a serviceable quarterback. I would say a serviceable bridge quarterback and a running back away from having a much better offense. And I'm looking at some of these free agent running backs, a couple of notable ones: Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, just to name a few. Even like Rico Dowdle isn't a bad one to name too, but they are one running back that is not Zamir White or Amir Abdullah away from being a decent offense too.
Very good running back draft too. Like you're 7 or 8. Yeah. Like Damian Martinez, my dude out of Miami, is the 7th best running back in this class.
He's good. He showed out at the Senior Bowl, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's a good power back for sure.
Ollie Gordon looked great too. Dude, there's a lot of talent in this running back class. This is the one thing that's really funny. I feel bad for the Aaron Jones, Najee Harris of the world, is that this kind of reminds me of the 2017 draft class that had Alvin Kamara, McCaffrey, Fournette. Like they had a bunch of guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
And somehow the Eagles managed to draft the only one who didn't play more than one season. Janelle Pumphrey. Because Doug Peterson can't draft running backs for Hill. Anyway, except for Tank Bigsby, apparently. But yeah, so the offseason, I feel like with the whole Saquon thing, it's going to make things a little interesting. Now, the Chiefs, everyone's like, oh, but the Chiefs have like a running back by committee with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Also, by the way, somebody did a thread today about all the horrible things people on the Chiefs have done since they became pros or before they were pros. It's a thread a mile long. It's disturbing. I'm not going to talk about it more than because this Chiefs fan tweeted out the Eagles organization is disgusting. I can't believe they're allowed to play. Chiefs, please stomp them out. And I was like, hold up, partner. I feel like the Chiefs don't have a squeaky clean history either. And then this Eagles fan came in and retweeted it. And it's just a list of like people smoking the Chiefs for what they were doing. And for some of the players and what they did, I was like, yikes. I was reading through the list, like, I forgot about that. Yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the greatest hits like Tyreek, Kareem Hunt, Rashid Rice, but then you got into like some of the nitty gritty, like, oh, okay. It's going up, it's blowing up all over Twitter right now. If you want to check it out yourself, but I will not go into any further. What I do want to talk about is the fact that the best defensive end in football, Miles Garrett, has officially requested a trade. Now, here's the interesting part. And I think it was Albert Breer was on NBC Boston today at the Super Bowl, and he was talking about it. The reason he did this is because apparently he requested this trade a couple days ago. And the Browns' response was no. No. Apparently their GM was quoted as saying when a guy asked him, hey, somebody walks up off you 2 first-rounders for Miles Garrett, and the guy was like, nope. And I think now Miles Garrett has kind of forced the hand a little bit. If I'm Miles Garrett, I'm all for this. I'm a fan of this as an observer of Miles Garrett. Obviously, Miles Garrett's for this. I am a fan of it for him. His career is wasting away in Cleveland. That little run they went on in 2019, 2020 is gone. Stefanski's seen to that when he ran Baker Mayfield out of town. For Deshaun, my Achilles is busted again, Watson.
Yeah.
Their best offensive player right now is Jerry Jeudy. But by the way, Jerry Jeudy, congratulations for having an amazing season. But like they're honestly the most promising quarterback right now is Jameis.
Yeah.
I think Jameis is a free agent too. So, dude, give me Jameis in Las Vegas. Let's really party now, kids. Jameis Winston and Chip Kelly's offense. He's either going to throw for 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns, or he's going to literally have a fumble every other play. I love it.
My God.
Because Chip Kelly's offense is so about read, react, and quick thinking. It's nuts.
Why don't they draft Will Howard?
Because I don't think Will Howard's like the 9th best quarterback in this class.
Yeah, but if he falls.
Yeah, but then you're wasting your pick. You're better off with Desmond Ridder at that point.
No, you bring in a bridge quarterback like Winston. You draft Howard, and the next year, if you suck, you go in and get yourself Arch Manning.
Nate, you're missing the point here.
I am.
I don't think Will Howard is going to be more than a Sam Ehlinger.
Oh, damn.
Sam Ehlinger.
Sam Ehlinger, Desmond Ridder, like just great college quarterback, just not that good in the pro. Should probably go play XFL. He'd probably make millions of dollars doing that. Like, I don't get why a lot of these quarterbacks like don't pull an AJ McCarron. AJ McCarron realized he was not one of the best 32 quarterbacks, but realized he could be a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback in a different league. So AJ McCarron, once again, is going back to the XFL. I don't understand. I understand it's an ego thing. I get that, and it's a pride thing, but I digress. Miles Garrett. So I guess the leaders in the clubhouse. So this is according to our boy Max Lobes. He kind of was talking about this earlier when I watched his clips before. So Philly, Washington, Buffalo, and then there's one more AFC team he liked. It's going to kill me. I can't think of this right now. A lot of cap space. Anyway, those were like the big ones, right? As a Philly fan, Miles Garrett to replace Josh Sweat, who we're apparently going to lose to New England in free agency, which every Patriots media person is saying. You know, the season hasn't even ended yet. This is why Instagram needs to be toned down a bit. I love it for if Philadelphia, Buffalo, or Washington. All three of them need an edge rusher this offseason. He's the best there is. It's a no-brainer.
A spot that pops in my head, and we were just talking about them, Las Vegas. Would be fun to see him with Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby. That would be
Dexter Lawrence. Oh, no, sorry, Christian Wilkins.
Yeah, that'd be the scariest
defensive line
football. That'd be the scariest defensive line of football right there. Problem is that they're not going to win, anytime soon, so that's not what he wants. But I had a couple takeaways from this. One, I was bamboozled that it's already been 8 years of Miles Garrett in the NFL. I distinctly remember watching him be a first-round draft pick, and I was like, "Holy crap, 8 years!"
Matt, he's our draft class. Like if we went out to the players, he's our draft class.
Yeah, no, I remember because I was watching that. I'm like, wow. At the time, I'm like 175 pounds soaking wet, and this man is my age, and he is about 100 pounds heavier than me with about 40 pounds more muscle on me. And I'm like, wow, what am I doing with my life? Anyways, another takeaway I saw was reading his statement. And it's not like it bothers me, but it's when he was saying the goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. The goal was to fight and play for a Super Bowl title. And to me, I read that. I'm like, oh, man, loyalty is gone. Like, loyalty is dead in sports right now, I think. Not like I don't
think it's a loyalty thing. I think he gave them first 8 years of his career. And besides 2020, they never really sniffed it. And at some point, as a professional, you have to understand, like, nobody wants to go out like Joe Thomas as a Hall of Fame career. Joe Thomas never had a winning season in Cleveland. Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Dude, nobody wants that.
That's fair.
I don't blame him. I think he gave him I think you give somebody 8 years and they can't get together as a team. I think you have, if there's any player on a bad team, this is like Joe Hayden when he left. You have more than enough time. Go. Win a title. You are 29 years old. Go. You're the best football player on the planet defensively. Go. Just it's a no-brainer to me. I think this is a loyalty thing. If it was year 4, yeah, I'm claiming loyalty's dead. But in the NFL, I think loyalty is a two-way street in the NFL because it's heartless. There's not a lot of guaranteed contracts in the NFL. Nothing's fully guaranteed. Loyalty is a two-way street. And the responsibility the Browns organization had to him as their central franchise player, and they did nothing. Get all the money they wasted on Deshaun Watson that kills their cap. This organization literally set themselves back to the mid-2000s all over again. Yeah. That's it.
That one deal that was not necessary, not even needed. Baker Mayfield even came out that he was injured that entire year pretty much. Just derailed this franchise and set them back another 5 years. I mean, you think about
football gods stay undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, if you're looking at contending teams that he can go to, I mean, those three, like you mentioned, Philly, Buffalo, and Washington are three great spots for him to go to and immediately perform.
Oh, and Detroit. Detroit, that was the last
Detroit. One. Oh man, that would be insane. So, I mean, hopefully the Browns don't do him, dirty and send him to Carolina or New Orleans or something like that. But yeah, the best defensive player in the league requesting a trade. They don't have to trade him. He still has a couple years on his contract, but we'll see if they can get a decent haul for him. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But if I was the Browns, I wouldn't bat an eye at looking at teams like the Jets. Not saying he's going to the Jets. I'm saying the Jets are a team that have a bunch of talent on that team, but they're all going into year 4 or year 5.
Yeah.
You can go have your pick at Jermaine Johnson. You can go ask for Garrett Wilson. You can go ask for Breece Hall because they can't keep everybody. So I'm not saying the Jets. I'm just saying a team like the Jets that has a bunch of talent, star talent on that team that are in contract years.
Yeah, don't ask for those picks.
You can go get, they can replace them. Just using my team as an example because I just know that roster off the top of my head. They can go ask for, we want Jermaine Johnson or Will McDonald plus Breece Hall and this and that. You can get a bunch of talent and maybe a pick or two and lock those guys up young. And then take that off of the plate of that franchise that has 6 players to extend. Or you can go get a 4 or 5 pick haul, whatever you want to do, whether it's 2 first and a couple mid-rounders or, whatever the case may be. They got a lot of options to work with.
So I'm starting to notice as I've gotten, we've covered football for a long time. Man, I've been probably doing this now for 15, 18 years, just trying to cover football, even semi-professionally, professionally now. I'm starting to become maybe I'm a minority in this, but I would rather, let's say I'm on the Browns. Let's say I call up Philly. I'm like, hey, Philadelphia. Like, hey, what's going on? All right, I want one of your safeties. Let's say maybe they try to see if they can finagle it for Reed Blankenship or Sidney Brown, a first-round pick, second-round pick, and maybe a weapon. Throw in Jahan Dotson. Just be like, I want players and a pick instead of just because stacking draft picks to me, there's only the biggest one to me that stands out is look at the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown for basically a first-round pick that turned into Treylon Burks. A.J. Brown's a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Treylon Burks has less touchdowns in his career than A.J. Brown has Super Bowl appearances.
That was a good find I saw online. I sent that.
Yeah, Nate. Shout out to Nate for finding that for me last episode. Yeah, wild. So maybe if I'm Cleveland, I try to see if I can scramble. If I call up Detroit, like, hey, listen, you got 6 different wide receivers I'd love to get. Throw me one of them, or throw me maybe see if there's or call up Washington. Say, hey, listen, got a lot. Maybe go see they'll throw you a Frankie Louvu. Somebody's a difference maker on defense, or something. Just the biggest thing to me is you don't want to come away with just an empty piece of paper saying you have a draft pick. Give me a player, and I might be in the minority in this. I don't know, but to me, if I'm going to trade the best player my franchise has had since the days of Bernie Kosar, because honestly, to me, he is skill-wise, why not get a playmaker or two with it? You can't do 3-team deals like the NBA, but maybe go get a kick returner, go get a decent running back to fill the void from Chubb, go get a receiver, go get offensive line help, something. I think just trading for empty draft picks needs to be re-examined. It's a weird hill to die on to me, but I'm kind of looking at the winning teams, the 2 best organizations, the most aggressive go after players, not picks. You know where they're playing? In the Super Bowl this week. We're about to talk about them in 2 minutes.
Yeah. No,
Henry Roseman, 2 best GMs in football.
You got to really evaluate your roster and see what are your biggest needs, and is this the draft to address those needs? If they want defensive line help, go have your pick at whoever you want. It's a great draft for that, but them picking at 2, they could get the quarterback that they want. But I agree with what you're saying. I'm on board with maybe them getting 1 or 2 picks, but like 2 players, 2-3 players, pick or 2. I like that for them. That can just build them up from a bottom barrel team to maybe a 7-8 win team next year with promise going forward. Nate, you look like you had a
You got some weird theory. Where's this tinfoil hat?
Let's play a game. Who's going number 1? Say it, Jared.
Cam Ward.
Who's going number 2?
Travis Hunter.
If Garrett gets traded, who's going 2?
Mason Miller.
Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter.
Oh, yeah.
You know who's going number 3?
Shedeur
Sanders. Thank you for your time. Have a good one.
Mason Miller. Is that offensive line?
No, that's a pitcher for the A's.
Wow. Is there
Mason Miller?
No, they're the tackle from LSU.
Oh,
Will
yeah.
Campbell. Campbell.
Isn't there a Mason defensive player?
Yeah.
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham out of
there we go.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are less than a month away from me, Nate, and Matt's NFL draft rankings. They start.
I remember that. Oh, yeah.
They start in less than a month. I think we come back. We take one Thursday off, and then we come back. I think it's like this last weekend of February. We start with quarterbacks. And then we go every week until the draft.
I look forward to the draft more than I look forward to Christmas. Honestly, I love the draft.
It's not a split. Even though every year that I honestly, this Christmas I had a very good Christmas, but in recent years I've actually, because of Howie Roseman, I've left the draft happier than I did on Christmas.
Dude,
but this year, I mean, listen, this was fun. Last year was fun watching us draft Quinyon Mitchell while I'm on air. My live reaction was crazy. And then I had to spend day 2 of the draft in a different gym because my truck was getting serviced for the 15,000th time. But whatever. All right, I digress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've held out long enough. The Super Bowl is in 6 days. So now it's only fitting, just like we did for the National Championship, we're going to do my favorite game. How they got there. This is where I do a comedic take on how his team got to the Super Bowl. So, Maestro, music, please. I'm the maestro. I'm talking to myself here.
So we have that?
We do. Oh. Music, please. Oh. A little rock and roll will be fine for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. How the Kansas City Chiefs and the Fighting Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift got to the Super Bowl. All right. They start off with Isaiah Likely's big toe hitting the white line, saving them in a win against Baltimore Week 1. Week 2, a pass interference call that shouldn't have been called or shouldn't have, whatever it went against the Bengals, saved them a win, 26-25. Then, in the worst non-call I'd ever seen, Kyle Pitts gets basically tackled in the end zone. Even Chris Collinsworth, Chiefs fan himself, acknowledged it should have been called. Chiefs survived the Falcons 22-17. We go to Chargers land, where somehow the Chargers, on a last-second call, lose 17-10. New Orleans, they suck, so the Chiefs killed them 26-13. So did the 49ers, 28-18. Then the Raiders, where JPJ forgot. Actually, no, that wasn't the JPJ one, but it was still a tight game, 27-20. The Buccaneers. This was the game, I believe, where they had multiple injuries. It was an overtime win, but Chiefs survive 30-24. Oh, look, another one-score game against the Broncos, 16-14. Their first loss of the season, the Buffalo Bills win 30-21. Then in a game in our first house upset of the year, the Carolina Panthers almost pull off the most hilarious upset of all time, 30-27. Chiefs win on a last-second field goal. Then the game where I realized that truly the Chiefs were headed for New Orleans, where a phantom call on a JPJ false start cost the Raiders the game when they were driving for the game-winning field goal. Apparently, when it's the Chiefs, the play does count. And, of course, the Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers find a way to blow another close one, 19-17. The Browns are awful, so 21-7. The Texans, first game of the Texans lose 19-27. They beat the snot out of the Steelers on Christmas because then again, everyone was beating the Steelers in December, 29-10. And finally, Carson Wentz showed up and did exactly what he was supposed to do. Make sure they lost the second game, 38-0 final score. Postseason. Texans get a bunch of BS calls, roughing the passers, flops, what have you, but you still have to win the game. Texans were not prepared. Honestly, they were a lame duck team coming into this game anyway. I appreciate their effort, though. Only one offensive touchdown, I believe. Not enough to win. So, Chiefs 23, Texans 14. Now the game in question where everyone thought the game was rigged. Was the catch by Xavier Worthy hitting the ground? Yes, but it was controlled. Was Josh Allen over the line? Probably. But was it skeptical? Yes. Here's the kicker. Buffalo, if you want to win, you don't leave it up to the refs. That is how the Kansas City Chiefs, your two-time defending Super Bowl champions, reached Super Bowl 59. Now to the NFC, where the people's team. Everyone's rooting for them except for weirdos, some Giants fans. Nate's co-host was officially banned from the show for his take. He said he hates the Eagles, so he's rooting for the Chiefs. Banned.
Well, what do you...
Banned.
What do you want him to do?
Root for the team that's going to prevent a catastrophe.
Yeah, but you gotta understand.
Nothing good comes from victory.
You gotta understand, NFC East teams are not gonna root for the Eagles.
I rooted for the Giants against the Patriots. I've had Giants fans call me, telling me they're rooting for the Eagles. Because you're rooting for the Empire.
I wish everyone was like that. I'm rooting for the Eagles myself.
It's okay. He's a Notre Dame fan. He's gonna suffer. Well, we're gonna curb stomp them on week 1 of the college football season. So, because they're losing everybody anyway. Welcome to Miami Gardens, Notre Dame. All right. Going to the NFC. I get a little testy when people go against the rebellion here. All right. Packers, Sao Paulo. Eagles win 34-29. Saquon announces himself with 3 touchdowns. Falcons 22, Eagles 21. Saquon's game-aliving drop allowed the Falcons to drive down the field and score. But Saquon redeems himself in New Orleans after a bunch of dirty late hits by a very dirty Saints team. Somehow the Eagles pull off a miracle win, 15-12 against the supposed NFC favorites. With both receivers injured, no Jahan Dotson, and somehow a alive Saquon Barkley, the Philadelphia Eagles get smoked by Tampa Bay 33-16. After a shaved Nick Sirianni noggin, the Eagles go into the Browns with a couple clutch completions. They win 20-16. This game was not as close as you think. A dropped interception that led to a field goal and a blocked extra point that turned into a touchdown. Sorry, blocked field goal turned into a touchdown were the 2 scores from Cleveland that actually were fluky. Then we go to the Meadowlands and Saquon's triumphant return to the Giants, where he ran for what was at that point almost a career high of over 170 yards rushing and a touchdown. The Eagles win 28-3. The Bengals, who we all thought were just one play away, got killed 37-17. Jaguars, it took a clutch Nakobe Dean interception, but the Eagles survived 28-23. Then, butt-whooping number 1 as the Eagles go belt to ass on the Dallas Cowboys in round 1, 34-16. Johnny Wilson caught a touchdown. That's how bad it was getting. Commanders and Eagles met on Thursday Night Football in one of the best games of the year, but you cannot hold back Saquon forever. 26-18 is the final score. Speaking of Saquon, ran for 255 yards against the aforementioned Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football in one of the greatest performances I've ever seen from a running back since Adrian Peterson. Shout out to Joe Shane. And after that, Cooper DeJean was introduced to the world from dropping Derrick Henry, and the Eagles dropped Lamar and the Ravens 24-19. Once again, not as close to the score looked. Then the game that caused all the controversy, where the Eagles could barely move the ball against the Carolina Panthers and barely won 22-16. I will say this, and I'll say this now, the Panthers are going to win the NFC South next year. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they're going to do it. Bryce Young, great. Then the Eagles came in and put boots to ass against the Steelers, 27-13. Then the game, which will live in infamy, the Philadelphia Eagles lose on a last-second touchdown from Jaden Daniels, who played phenomenally. Yet, the Commanders, after Greg Olsen told us 1,000 times during that broadcast, how are they winning? They have 5 turnovers. Well, Greg, when you injure our quarterback and then you eject our defensive captain, things kind of happen. Anyway, then the Eagles, with the likes of Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee, put even more belts to asses against Dallas, 41-7. And finally, Nate's Giants came to town, and the Eagles basically played with their food for 4 quarters and won, 20-13. To the playoffs we go, where the Eagles, in a rematch against the Packers, won 22-10 in one of the strangest performances I've ever seen from either team. Hurts looked rusty. The offensive play calling looked terrible. Actually, no, Hurts wasn't bad. It was more Kellen Moore's route tree was awful. Then they go to Rams-Eagles, where the Rams not only tried to almost injure Jalen Hurts, they didn't try to, they just did. It happens. The Rams aren't a dirty team. Saquon was a hero in the snow. Eagles win 28-22. And finally, the belt to ass of all belt to asses, the Philadelphia Eagles whooped on the Washington Commanders 55-23. 7 rushing touchdowns in a game. To all you Cowboys fans coming at me on Instagram, that is more rushing touchdowns than you guys had the entire season. Eagles are now in the Super Bowl. So that is how they got there.
Gentlemen, I got some breaking news for you.
Okay.
Some NFL breaking news. This is per Cooper Kupp himself. The Rams are going to be seeking an immediate trade from the receiver from the team. They are working with him as they speak. We're going to be working with him and his family to find the right place to continue competing for championships. But Cooper Kupp will not be a Los Angeles Ram next season.
We'll give you Jahan Dotson and a bag of chips.
We'll give you Jalen Hyatt and 2 third-rounders.
Why would you want to sacrifice the rest of his career to that garbage can you call a team?
I don't know.
Nate, until you fire Joe Shane, I don't know what you guys are going to do.
He's fine.
He's a moron.
Okay, sir. Just
Brian Dable deserves better.
I like that guy.
I'm a fan of his offense. I just think your GM's an idiot.
You know what? Just be thankful. Just be thankful, okay?
Yeah, I am thankful. He gave us the greatest next signing of all time.
He had a good draft. He just didn't make great decisions with current players and contract years.
When his kid looks smarter than he did on Hard Knocks.
We couldn't trade to 2 or 3. How many times I got to say this son of a...
No, it's not about that. But the fact of the matter is that you can't get what you want. The problem is they should have known. They should have known earlier than this that Daniel Jones was not the solution.
I know.
Or keep him in the season the rest of the year so you guys have 1 win instead of 5 or 4. What the hell you guys have? And then you're guaranteed to get Shedeur Sanders.
It's okay. We'll take our chances.
But yeah, Cooper Kupp going to the who knows? Eagles, Chiefs,
Chargers. Ooh, Chargers would be cool.
I mean, that'd be interesting. Him just literally swapping training facilities. I like that though. Good. I hope Cooper finds a good spot. Hell of a receiver, crafty as hell. I do think they're putting too many eggs in the Nakua basket too early, but I think as long as he can stay healthy, why not?
I don't know if it's just me. I see Puka and Cooper Kupp, and I see 2 identical receivers that were in their prime with the same exact issues, which is injuries.
Yeah. I think Puka is a little stronger. Yeah. He's a little harder to tackle.
It's just kind of funny because, I mean, when both are healthy, you've got 2 Cooper Kupps like right there in front of you, but they're
both route technicians. They're both hard to bring down in open field. I will say this though, Matt. I think he's the top wide receiver target in the offseason now.
Oh yeah, hands down. I mean, unless Garrett Wilson were to request a trade, I think Cooper Kupp is going to.
I've heard is a possibility. Are you doing okay?
I have heard the rumors, and I have nothing to confirm it. So I am.
Do you have a Garrett Wilson jersey?
I have a signed Garrett Wilson jersey.
Wait,
But
speaking about jerseys, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
17. No, I was saying
it's
at 17. Oh no, I haven't picked one yet. I wanted an Aaron Glenn one off eBay, but I couldn't find one, so I gotta go. I gotta do some digging.
I sent you those 2 sites that I've used before.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of intrigued because I want to see what they're like in person. Because if they're not bad, I might order myself a Jalen Carter and a. I think I'm going to do a Saquon t-shirt just because I don't really feel like spending the money. But
I have to figure out who's a safe pick because I think right now any of the young guys is not a safe pick because they can all be gone.
Go get Mark
Williams. Yeah, I think Quentin Williams is like the safest choice that you could possibly get right now for the Jets.
Yeah, so you just gave him money, right?
Yeah, we just gave him like, I don't know, 5 years, maybe like a year ago.
Yeah.
He's locked in for like 4 or more.
Yeah, I'd say go get a defensive tackle.
Or Fashanu. Olivia.
Yeah, the last offensive lineman jersey I bought was Becton's. And that didn't work.
I thought you had DeBrickashaw Ferguson. I feel like that'd be a guy you'd have.
Whoa.
That's a name, right? I love DeBrickashaw.
He's a perennial Pro Bowler. That's a real man.
He missed one snap in his entire career because it was
also
a play that he had to sub out on.
Inspiration behind the Key and Peele East-West Bowl skit.
Yeah. No, I want to just say a shout out to Mekhi Becton for getting to the Super Bowl, and a shame on all those Jets fans that are just going after him. I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, he had a very good.
He looks like he's built a guard.
But he had a very good rookie year with us. It's not his fault that he played on the worst turf in football and was injured years 2 and 3. And when he came back in year 4, he was in great shape. He whipped himself into shape. He looked phenomenal. And he had a very productive year. He didn't have a great last couple of weeks, but he had a productive year. They let him walk. It is what it is. But the Eagles took him. They gave him here's the best offensive line you'll ever play with. Here's our phenomenal coaching on the line.
Southern Connecticut State Owl, by the way. Jeff Stout.
And you know what?
Matter, baby.
You know what? Mekhi Becton's probably a guy that was like, you know what? I need a fresh start. And he probably was like, you know what? I'm open to anything. And they put him at guard, and he was great. So I'm happy for him. I hope he gets a Super Bowl ring. And I just shame on all the Jets fans that are just crapping on him. I really don't understand it. This man has done nothing but was always so positive and was always so working his butt off to get back on the field. He had 2 injury seasons. The turf sucks. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Is what it is. But he wasn't a bad guy or a player for this team. So I'm happy that he's fighting for a ring right now.
His block against the Rams was
terrifying.
Nasty. Dude, Saquon was probably like, oh, thank you.
Saquon's like, Jordan Mailata was able to walk down the field on that touchdown because again, Becton on the Hurts touchdown run against the Rams cleared the hole, man.
Part of the Red Sea.
You know what's so crazy? He wasn't even supposed to be the projected starter. It was supposed to be Tyler Steen.
And he's supposed to be.
Tyler Steen's great. So Becton just beat him out.
Oh, wow.
The Eagles for shits and giggles were like, Stoutland's like, hey, let's put the 6'6" monster next to see, it's great because the Eagles have huge offensive linemen, except for Juergens. Juergens is like your average size center, but Juergens is an animal. He hits like a damn sledgehammer. But Becton and Dickerson are both 6'5" plus 300-something pounds. Then you have Johnson, possibly the greatest right tackle of the last 40 years. And then you have dudes that allowed less sacks than he's been to Pro Bowls. It's insane. And then you have Jordan Mailata, who top-rated offensive lineman, top-rated offensive player in all Pro Football this year, also quoted Bane in the middle of the championship game. He literally said to one of the defensive players, he goes, I thought we would break first, your mind or your body. I'm like, ain't no way this big 6'8" goofy New Zealander just said this. So I love it. But what did you guys think of my comedic rundown of the season? A lot of Saquon mention in the Eagles and a lot of close games and the Chiefs. It's been the headline for both those rosters. I do think the Chiefs are a good team, but I've had this argument with people already. Chiefs fans too. Shout out to our boy Rob Taylor. I have said multiple times, you want my respect, you earn that respect by winning a game outright. You shouldn't have to win games. If you are truly the best dynasty or the new dynasty, you should not have to worry about a referee call. And I'm telling you right now, they did win those games, and a lot of those were, I think only about 3 of them were justifiable. Like, what the hell? The Bengals, the Raiders, and the Falcons. Other than that, everything was a Chiefs win. It was a win. There's no complaints. The Bengals, it should have been called. So it should have been called. Sorry. Falcons, it should have been called. Kyle Pitts got like assaulted in the end zone. And that ruling on the fumble by the Raiders on the false start snap. Like, if you're not going to call it the same for every team, don't call it that. But listen, that still puts them in the playoffs. That probably still wins in the division. And they're still probably in the Super Bowl. So at the end of the day, we got what we got. So Chiefs are in their spot here. So did Philadelphia. I'm excited. And this is the kind of unfortunate thing about doing the show on Monday, is because there's no real headlines yet. Most of them happen right now or tomorrow. But Eagles are practicing at the New Orleans Stadium, at the Saints Stadium in the Saints practice facility. Chiefs are at Tulane. Eagles fans are already landed. There's already being fools on Bourbon Street. Got to represent. But yeah, I'm excited, boys. We got 6 days until my mental sanity either cracks or is completely healed.
I think as long as Philly just continues to play their game of football, I think they should hopefully walk away raising that Lombardi trophy over everybody. I know it's easier said than done. Like I said, the Chiefs are probably the most well-prepared team in the league, but this is just a insane special season that we've been seeing. I don't think I've seen a crazy season like this for a running back in a long time, probably since like the Adrian Peterson time where he broke that record almost by 9 yards. It's just Saquon Barkley is just on another level this year. And I think as long as they continue to feed him and get him involved, and the beauty of it is that you don't even need to hand the ball off to him every single time. You could even dump the ball off to him on a little on a screen. Whether you want to do a check down pass, he can take it the whole way. But I mean, as long as they get Saquon involved and they run the ball efficiently like they have been doing this entire season with this 2,000-yard rusher in Saquon, the Eagles should have no problem winning this game. I know it's easier said than done. It's going to be tough. We'll see where the calls land. But yeah, no, I just, as simple as that, Philly just needs to stick to what they do best, which is run that ball.
Did you see Roger Goodell did not take kindly to that question today?
Yeah, he's never gonna, even if anything is
Roger, we get it, baby. You hate Brady, but you know what? Mahomes ain't the answer. The NFL fans, except for Kansas City, don't want it.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see another Chiefs Super Bowl. I want to see something else.
Either. It's gonna ruin my favorite sport for me. I'm gonna be like, is it baseball season yet? Go Snakes, baby. Go Snakes.
Go A's.
Go A's. I'm all for that. Go A's.
Thank you, Matt.
Hey, I actually like the A's, dude.
Yeah,
like your old school black with the green A hat. Fire.
It is.
I would love to see you guys be good again. When the A's are good, baseball is fun to me. I think the Angels are boring. I'll never forgive them for wasting Mike Trout's career or letting a Shohei go to the Dodgers. The Rangers, I've got beef with them from the 2023 World Series. The Mariners, they're just such a bore. They're just everything from their stadium to their colors is depressing. So I'm just like, send Julio Rodriguez somewhere else. But like when the A's are on, man, they're fun.
You know what's funny is that they go to Sacramento. One, they're going to sell out a stadium finally.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny how they spend their last season in the Coliseum and all of a sudden like they dish out that contract to Luis Severino. Then you find out that they were in on like, I don't know, some free agents like Corbin Burns or like big time free agents. Like they were actually in on big time pitchers or people that would never go there because they know they're not going to
another
win.
Brian Windhorst theory where I get ripped apart by fans on Twitter again.
For what?
I got real Cowboys fans were coming after me for the Brian Schottenheimer theory.
Oh my God, that was funny.
Oh, I know, but I'm still getting. They're like, dude, you should delete this, bro. I'm like, yeah, you and your 100 Instagram followers really care. Nice job, buddy.
Yeah.
I can get really salty and petty real quick. I just don't. I just did the 2 laughing, crying emojis because I'm like, I didn't even put a clown. I'm like, dude, you're a clown. Leave me alone. Like, go if you don't like my take, go watch somewhere else.
True.
I mean, when you see who's still available out there for a coaching candidate, and then you see they immediately went and signed Schottenheimer, and you just realize, oh yeah, Jerry Jones still runs that team. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Kellen Moore's picking up though to New Orleans.
Well, apparently now, according to who's the lady who has Diana Orsini, there is a little bit of tension now because Kellen Moore is apparently allegedly worried about the quarterback situation because Mickey Loomis loves Spencer Rattler. And last time I checked, offensive coaches do not like getting a quarterback forced down the throat. Ask Doug Peterson, ask in Philadelphia, ask believe Bill Belichick at the end of New England. And then there's probably a few other instances I can't even think of. Oh, Bill Parcells in Dallas back in the day. Every Giants coach after Tom Coughlin. Because even though Eli was a Hall of Famer, I don't think anybody wanted to deal with his old ass. That's just me being real. But I digress. But yeah. A little conspiracy theory. The A's tanked just to get out of that stadium. Now they're going to try to make a run and be a decent team this year.
Yes. Wild card.
Yes. Start slow. Honestly, I saw the change. They ended up
coming like second in the West behind the Astros, and I'm like,
as long as we don't kill Mason Miller.
Well, that's the thing. I saw the change coming once.
Send him down here with us.
Once they paid Severino, they ran on some free agents. They even brought back Brent Rooker. I'm like, oh wow, you know what? The greatest thing that could happen to this team right now might have been Mason Miller getting hurt because he couldn't get dealt. Now they have him. And they're going to be building up. Now, it's just funny that they just wanted to get out of Oakland, whether they wanted a different stadium or they wanted to leave entirely. That's all they were doing. And now they're actually like magically trying to actually get some talent. And now they're not the one team that's not making any moves. It's the Marlins only that are $0.00 in our free agency.
Incredible. I am excited, though. One thing I'm excited for baseball, I can't have to wait to see a Josh Naylor moonshot inside Chase Field. That big boy has a powerful swing. I want to see it hit the Toyota in the back of the bleachers.
I want to see a Cody Bellinger slide in Yankee Stadium. Is he the one that does that fancy little slide, or is that's
Trey Turner, right?
Trey Turner, shortstop for the Phillies.
Man, I'm getting all the players mixed up. The Masons mixed up. The Dodgers mixed up. All right.
I can't wait to see somehow, some way, the baseball gods pay us back for the disrespect the Dodgers have done to the free agency this year.
You miss Christian Walker or not?
It sucks, but he's getting old.
Okay.
Well, he wanted too much money. Well, we offered him a 2-year deal. Most of the other teams, like the Yankees, only offered him a 1 year.
Where'd he go?
Houston,
yeah. The Yankees took Goldschmidt on a 1-year deal, which to me tells me
that one hurt. That hurt a little bit. I was like, oh, let's get him on a DH. Let's get him as a DH.
I think I would have actually preferred like Santana. Just Goldschmidt's just was on a decline, but we'll see. I mean, we have a short,
but hell, he can still hit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you need to milk something out of somebody, you know, Yankee Stadium's a good place to do it with that.
Where does Petey Alonso go?
I think Pete Alonso inevitably is just going to go back to the Mets on some sort of generic deal.
I don't know. I think
2 years.
I think they might have burned that bridge. I could see him going to like.
I mean, they're saying Toronto.
He can apologize and be like, "I'm sorry, I come back."
He could go to the Angels and just be miserable for a year or two.
Or he can go to like some random team like the Pirates.
Ew.
I mean, I don't even know who. Honestly,
dude, the Pirates would have a shot at winning the Central this year. Can we like acknowledge that? Like they have a real shot. So
the only teams that I have
the
heard
Orioles
in Alonso are Toronto and the Mets. That's all I've heard. And I thought like if he goes to Toronto, then the Mets will just trade for Vlad. if he doesn't, they let him hit free agency first, or if they trade him at the deadline.
All I care about, as long as he doesn't go to the Dodgers or go to the Giants. Other than that, I don't care. But
wait, what's wrong with SF? They didn't do nothing wrong.
Diamondbacks fans like me rooting for the Giants. He's an Eagles fan.
That you criticized Brian earlier.
This is the Super Bowl. This is bigger than me. But free agency is different. Like, I don't want Cam Ward going to the Giants. I don't want like Miles Garrett going there.
Oh man, if he goes here, I'd be ballistic.
My favorite Canadian.
Oh, Mr. Brent. Mr. Brent, where's Pete Alonso going?
Yeah,
where's
Brent,
where's
Pete going?
He could be going to his homeland of Toronto. Well, I don't know if he's from Toronto. He's
no, he's a Yankees fan.
No, I know. I'm saying he's from Canada. I think that's where Pete's going to wind up going. If it's not the Mets, it's going to be Toronto.
Toronto. The Mets. Oh, fun fact, who follows me on Twitter is Jose Bautista.
You?
Nice.
Hell yeah, nice.
We also mass followed like everyone in the Northeast when I was in college, but he still follows me on Twitter apparently.
Man, I wish Malik Neighbors followed me. Dang. I think Jose Canseco follows me for some reason. No, I'm dead serious. If I can find it, I'll try to show it.
All right, I gotta find every celebrity that follows me.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Korner Booth Podcast, episode 316. The title, of course, was "Is There Hope to Stopping the Three-Peat?" There is. Part 2 of our Super Bowl preview will be 95% of the show on Thursday. The show, of course, will be available for replay on Belly Up's YouTube channel as of tomorrow afternoon. Our Thursday show, of course, will be live on Korner Booth's YouTube, X, and our Instagram. Facebook is giving us the Dikembe Mutombo finger about streaming to our Facebook. But it's okay. We don't care. We appreciate all you stopping by. Shout out to our sponsors, Righteous Felon, promo code BELLYUP for 15% off a purchase. I just ordered another bag. I'm ecstatic. It's going to be I ordered like 4 bags of the Maryland crab flavor. It's my favorite.
Marilyn Monroe. That's what
the design is on the actual bag.
Oh.
And then also the bourbon infused. I ordered a couple bags of that as well. Have not ordered the sticks yet. Might try those out. Maybe next time. Candidates, I have an order in the cart with them right now because I just ran out this afternoon. I ran out on Sunday. Promo code BELLYUP 20% off at checkout. Their 2X Blue Raspberry came in clutch this weekend. 5X strength. And then finally, SeatGeek, promo code BELLYUP Sports for $20 off your first initial purchase. As Pat McAfee says, the best ticket site on the planet and the moon. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a little special shout out to my family. It's been a rough couple days for the Klim clan. Shout out to my grandmother, Terry. Rest in peace. Love you, Grandma. And other than that, we will see you guys on Thursday. Peace.
Love you guys.